League of Legends is the biggest esport in the world and has been for about a decade. This ever-evolving game garners millions of viewers every year to watch the best of the best from several regions compete against one another for the privilege of representing their homes at the biggest gaming tournament of all time, the League of Legends World Championship. At this event, millions of people are awestruck at the production value Riot Games puts on. A live concert of some of their best music, a holographic or CG light show, a teaser of some sort, whether it be for a new skin line or for a show they're releasing. And they conclude it by presenting the two best teams to the world, the 10 best players at the time. If this sounds like a lot, that's because it is. And it's important to keep in mind this all happens in the span of 15 to 20 minutes. It's no small feat, and the excitement the viewer feels while preparing for the actual matches is something that can't be conveyed by words, but can only be experienced in that yearly championship series. But what if I were to tell you that despite the insane production value that goes into Worlds, that actually isn't the best League of Legends content? The holder of that title goes to a single region, not even the best performing region statistically, but the most entertaining by a wide margin, the League of Legends European Championship, better known as the LEC. My name's Archer, and today we're going to be looking at the current summer split for the LEC, what makes it so special and entertaining, how this even happened, and what teams are most likely to get their acts together and represent Europe at this year's Worlds. Without further ado, let's begin. So, before looking at how this split is so insane to watch, let's first talk about standings from the previous two summer splits in LEC. 2021 summer was granted pretty close among 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place seedings in G2, MAD, and Misfits respectively. However, that's about where the closeness ends, with Rogue taking 1st place at a 72% win rate for the split, and Shulk 04 taking last place with an outstanding 17% win rate. 2020 summer was more of the same, but with standings a little tighter in Origin's last place 33% win rate. Rogue again came in first with an impressive 72, leading to a massive disparity between the best and the worst of the LEC. This disparity can be found in most regions and is a standard throughout competitive League of Legends. Even looking at the second to last place standings, we see SK in 2021 with a 28% win rate and Vitality in 2020 with 39. So what happened to make this year's second to last place standing have a 40% win rate with only 3 days left in the split? Yeah, okay, you don't work in the narrative, get out of here. Well, in order to really understand expectations, we have to look back to 3 months ago, at the Mid-Season Invitational, better known as MSI. At MSI, G2 provided one of the best showings, going 8-0 in the group stage against EG from North America and Order from Oceania. Not the most impressive lineup, true, but considering how strong EG has looked all year, G2's record is still nothing to scoff at. The same can be said for the other undefeated teams as well though, in T1 and RNG's 6-0 record in their group. Yeah, MSI wasn't really close in competition, was it? Eesh. Regardless, despite G2's crushing loss against T1 in the semifinals, they returned to Europe with their heads held high, and fans cautiously optimistic for this team to improve even further throughout the summer split. Which makes G2's loss to BDS in the second week of the split a kick in the gut to fans everywhere. Yes, BDS as in the team that is 2-13 in the split so far. This upset is what sparked the phenomenon that I like to deem what the fuck that took over the LEC this entire split. Oh wow, XL beat MAD, what a surprising game. MAD is a pretty good team. I'm sorry, what's that? MAD beat G2? That's unexpected. Misfits beat MAD now? Just what is going on? Fnatic beat G2? The rivalry continues, Misfits I guess. Misfits beat Fnatic? Are Misfits actually good? Why the hell did they sell their LEC spot? SK beat G2. That's a good joke. That's a really good joke. Oh shit, that's real? Okay, SK beat Excel now, just what are they feeding Gilius? Misfits beating G2, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Oh, what's that? Excel beat Misfits, maybe things are finally going back to normal. Fnatic lost to Excel? Are they even going to playoffs this year? How in the world did Astralis lose to SK? How in the world did Rogue lose to Astralis? Now even Vitality is beating G2. Perks is too good, I guess. Rogue beat MAD. What kind of fucked up rock, paper, scissors game are we playing? I have never seen so many upsets in one day. How this even happens is beyond me. To be completely honest, not many people know why exactly all of these insane losses and wins happened, but there are personal theories out there that people subscribe to. I don't think there's much merit to most of them, but the real issue at hand is that these games are all best of one. Imagine you're in the shoes of a professional player. You've just woken up at noon, you have a game in 4 hours. You go about your daily routine, shower, get dressed, eat, practice a little bit with your teammates, then you all make the drive to the studio in Berlin to play one game of League. Once that game is over, you make the drive back home where you play solo queue or scrim with your teammates. The point is, it's impractical to have players go about their entire day, prepare themselves mentally and physically for a match that could determine the future of the roster and the players, sit in a car for who knows how long, arrive at the studio, then play a single game of League. That's the equivalent of James Harden spending his entire day preparing for a game to then play for a single quarter, then sit on the bench for the rest of the day. What was the point of all of his prep? Now that each team has played 15 best-of-1 games, we should have a general idea of what teams will be making playoffs. Granted, the seeding is completely insane, but if somebody tries to tell you BDS or SK are making playoffs, file a restraining order against that psychopath. Granted, it's important to look at the stakes of these standings. A 4-way tie for second doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of it all, but if you're a Fnatic fan, that tie may as well be a bracket of doom. Being tied for 6th, the final spot to make it to playoffs, as an org that has made playoffs every year since joining the LEC, it's not an ideal place to be. Even despite that though, the scores between the 2nd place ties and the 6th place ties are incredibly close. If Misfits, Rogue, Vitality, or G2 somehow lose all 3 games this week, and Excel, Astralis, or Fnatic win all 3, we could see a pretty crazy shift in standings. Looking at the games themselves that are planned though, it's not likely a shift that drastic will occur. The most likely candidate for dropping out of playoffs from the 2nd place tie is G2, who has to face Mad Lions, Misfits, and SK this week. The odds of going 0-3 are fairly slim provided SK's record, but they did just recently beat Rogue, so everything is up in the air. And if you're a Fnatic fan, you've got a pretty rough gauntlet to get through. Not only are you up against Astralis, who looks to be about on par with Fnatic strength-wise, you have to best Vitality the next day, who have yet to use their secret weapon in Bow in a match yet. If Fnatic miraculously beats both of these teams, they have to face Misfits, who is doing quite well for themselves against the fan-favorite teams. In the face of it all, however, this is still the closest split LEC has ever seen. At the drop of a hat, any one of these top teams could drop below the playoff threshold and miss out on the chance to represent Europe at Worlds. In the same breath, any one of the teams already below that threshold could rise above the rest, making an incredible comeback story for themselves and the org they represent. Unless you're BDS, there's like a 0% chance that Team even wins a game this week. But for everyone else, I'm looking forward to the Super Week, and I know I'll be cheering on my favorite team as I watch with anticipation to see who crumbles under the pressure and who rises to the challenge. My name's Archer, and this has been the closest split in the LEC. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. I plan on putting out a content similar to this for other regions such as Korea and NA, so be sure to stay tuned for those. This video is probably more rushed than the others will likely be, and that's because the actual LEC Super Week starts in about 14 hours for me, so I had to rush before my video became pointless. If my predictions are wrong, well, hey, that's life. Oh, yeah, my predictions themselves. My order for standings is probably going to look something like this, which is what I expect the actual standings to look like as well. As for playoffs and who wins the summer split, go Berks. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you again, have a great night.